Hello, welcome. I just thought I'd share this live. Usually I'd record these things and didn't quite have time to do the recording I wanted, which isn't, well, I might have had the time, but I didn't feel like I did. So I thought, well, I'll record a little thing to myself as a note for what it is I want to say. And I thought, well, I'll just go live and do it all at once. And so thank you for the stars and for the comments and the interaction and also your consideration. So anyway, through the training period to Black Sash, however many years that was for me, I recorded, I remember 0 instances of praise from my teacher. Let me just think if I'm estimating. Nope, precisely 0. Obviously, I came to terms with that, and that was fine because I, continued to study after the Black Sash. I didn't particularly think about it either, not being all that important to me. But I did notice at the end of the Black Sash test, I received a rather small piece of praise from my teacher, which seemed like, the first human witnessing an aurora australis or something, like mind-bending, mind-blowing, like tears welling up and all the rest. And for the record, the praise was not direct praise. It was a negation of a criticism. So it was on the order of not bad, meaning, well, it's not that bad thing, which is different than that was good, or you're great, or you amaze me, or something like that, or brilliant, or best I've seen. It was just that thing. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be coming from you, which is not at all how the teacher meant it. And it's not really how I took it. I'm just kind of enjoying the story and the telling of the story. So I was just thinking, as I was writing some curriculum about praise. So that's just a little bit about kind of my background. I see my job as one of delivering criticism and advice. If you ask my students, you'll hear that. That's what I do. Relentlessly, undyingly, in myriad ways. That's not to say that I'm rude and, I'm constantly interrupting, and the way that I deliver the advice or corrections or critique is undiplomatic or angry or harsh or cruel or ill-tempered or unrounded, if you like. I certainly endeavor to deliver the advice timely, cogently, consistently, considerately, carefully, and even tone. So it's not spurred on by emotion, but just a weighing by me of what, like a triage, and then, okay, this is what I'd like to offer. This is what I deem important and necessary, which of course means I could make a mistake. I'm a human being. And then try and offer that at the appropriate time, in the appropriate tone, in the appropriate manner, with the appropriate metaphor. And I tend to, as you can see from this video, do it with too many words, maybe repeat myself, but certainly try and, like I teach a lot of Tai Chi Chuan, so I try and deliver the advice in a Tai Chi Chuan manner as well. So fluid, consistent, whole being, I'll say, rather than whole body, soft, and with a mind towards listening, or Tingjin. So Anyway, I don't spend a lot of time, certainly in my career of however long this has been, 35 years or something. I don't spend a lot of time offering praise to students. I spend the time criticizing, right? Hopefully lovingly, gently, quietly, appropriately, and all that kind of stuff. And I would expect that, although not by design, a conscious design, that my students would report that their relationship to me is rather similar to my relationship to my teacher as regards praise, meaning they don't count many instances of having received praise from me. And that was the case with, my Kung Fu teacher. But relatively recently, last few years, I guess, I've been making a conscious, considered, careful attempt to offer praise more often, more regularly, more intentionally to students. That doesn't mean I pre-decide I'm going to give praise and just make sure I give it regardless. But I sort of pre-prepare. I try and prepare myself before the session, like to look for opportunities to offer praise, and then if they're appropriate, deliver them warmly, lovingly, appropriately, in the right, in the best tone, and so forth. But the point I would like to come to here, and I don't know, by the way, if that's for better or for worse, it's just something I've endeavored to try and do. It doesn't, I guess, come naturally to me. I don't know if that's exactly true, but it hasn't been in keeping with my teaching philosophy. So the thing that has occurred to me is there's power in that praise, right? There's value in that praise, both for the giver and the receiver. And what I've noticed is that mostly when I give praise, it's born of this catalyst of emotion in me, right? I'm bowled over by something. I'm inspired by something. I'm impressed by something. I'm excited by something. I'm warmed by something. I am, I have my interest piqued by something. Like, whoa. And then since I've pre-prepared myself to share that praise, then I'll share it. And generally, people are, oh, I like hearing the praise. Thanks very much. And maybe I go on and on like I'm doing now. Okay. But really then that praise, which maintains its power and its value and so forth, and for both of us, the giver and the receiver of the praise. But that praise was born of this catalyst of emotion in me, like a thing I want to do, a thing that I need to express, a thing that I'm feeling. So it's kind of emotionally driven, which is fun. It works, and it's certainly part of my journey, not how I ordinarily have done things. But what if I, in remembering the value of the praise, the value to the relationship of the praise, the power of the praise, if I thought to myself, not felt, but thought to myself, where can I give praise today? What is the value to somebody else in receiving that praise? And as the Sifu, right, I have a pretty good sense of the value of the praise from me to a student. Right? Not to seem arrogant or anything, but like, there's a power structure, a hierarchy, a differential, and me giving praise to you, as the student, is likely to be a bit more meaningful or powerful than if I just gave praise to a peer, for example, or a stranger or something. So now just thinking, okay, I'll just continue to say power. Thinking of the power of the praise. And where could I offer praise? And for me, that often looks like Oh yeah, that's right. Let me just send them a message. Really great effort today in class. Great to see you, of course. Looking forward to hearing how your homework went. Right? Or, hey, was thinking of you after our class, and again, I think your balance is really improving. Good for you. Something like that. Small little text message, but I expect from me, perhaps even just at the right time, that's received and has quite a bit of value. And that's not coming from, let me open myself and share that, which is great. It's fine. It's appropriate. It's wonderful. It's part of my journey. This is another idea of, that would be that's a power that I have. That's an offering I can make to the world. That's a giving back. And it could be a handwritten note, could be just a note to myself to say it in person. The way I tend to do it is send a, Facebook message or text message or something like that. Or maybe a lot of times I'll do that now, and I'll have taken a picture during class. So I'll send the picture of the student in the class, and then I'll, share a few words, and that's it, right? It doesn't have to be a conversation. So perhaps let's just think about the power of praise. And let's not forget, when we're talking about the hierarchy, while it might be awkward or unusual or certainly more unexpected, this person can praise that person. Right? You can offer the praise upward. May not be received the same. It may feel unnecessary or not novel or something like that, to say to your teacher, let's say if you were to say to your Tai Chi teacher, man, your balance is looking good. It's probably not going to come as any kind of a surprise. It might feel kind of weird or awkward, but it could still be valid. It could still be actually what you feel. It may not carry the same power as it would coming from the teacher to the student. But if it's sincere, it's authentic, why not? And perhaps you might have a different sort of praise to offer to somebody that's, your senior in some way. It might be, I can't believe that you stuck with this art for 55 years. If it weren't for you, it wouldn't be here for me to enjoy on Tuesday nights, or whatever that might be. And that's the praise. So thank you very much. Love, thanks for sharing your stars and forwarding this video and commenting. And patreon.com/somedayfarm is my page. Somedayfarm.org. You can look for Someday Farm on Linktree to find all my links, including my GoFundMe. Anyway, here at home, enjoying some little bit of health. Love, truly.